Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How you guys doing? In another video for SP Files. Now, I just want to say that in the weeks gone by, we issued many challenges to these individuals to come about with one instance where they have gone against Rabi' al-Madkhali's tabdi'at, because failure to do otherwise would indicate complete taqlid on their behalf in this mas'ala, or at least in this bab, that they are muqallidun. They are the people of, and they, ironically, they tell people that to go back to the way of the Salaf, but they're actually Khalafi, in the sense that they follow the Khalaf, in this case Rabi' al-Madkhali. And if that's not the case, then surely they would be able to show instances where they opposed him, especially in this bab of tabdi'ah. Otherwise, he must be infallible in this bab. I mean, if you feel like there's no instance where he made a mistake, then he must be either he's infallible, or you're ignorant, or you're muta'assib. In any case, this is the kind of hizbi behavior which we wanted to outline in the first place. So your silence is deafening, and we have been able to prove our case against you. So next time, don't make videos and talk about issues which are superfluous to this discourse, because this is really what does tamyiz of you duna ghayrik from the Hijāb. This is what really differentiates you from all the other groups, and you are a group and a cult. So the pressure is on you, and you have not been able to provide the goods. Unfortunately, you have not been able to provide a shred of evidence that you are anything but a muqallid. All of you are all muqallids of that particular group. This despite the fact that you are so ferociously active, making PDFs. Abu Ayyab made 600 pages. The brother from the mascot from the park made videos and videos and videos and videos using my name. But now the silence is deafening, isn't it? So the question is, why have you gone quiet? I think the reason is because you have nothing to say. Now, moving on, the reason why I think it's important that we continue putting pressure on these groups, of tabdi'is, individuals who cancel and stigmatize Muslim people from their own volition and for their own gain, really is because this. Think of this just simple proposition. Had all of the Muslims been like them, what would the Muslim Ummah be like? And I want you to think about this. Had all the Muslims been like them, what would the Muslim Ummah be like? It would be a self-implosive state of affairs, as we have already seen being the case with the takfiris and the tabdi'is. But these principles are self-eating principles, self-sabotaging principles. The principle of, if you don't follow this sheikh and this thing, and the leaders against you, and there's no idea of la inkar fi masail al-khilaf, or the idea that there must be tolerance in jurisprudential matters. If that happens, then everyone's going to be perpetually in conflict with everyone else. And this is what we have seen with tabdi'is and takfiris. And that's why it's an untenable state of affairs, because had everyone adopted it, there would be no such thing as the Muslim Ummah. The Muslim Ummah would be completely fragmented to the point of dissipation, and this is the problem. And this is why you don't find these individuals, or you scarcely find them talking about issues in the Ummah, whether it be the brothers and sisters in Rohingya, or the brothers and sisters in Syria, or the brothers and sisters in Africa, in Yemen, in obviously the Uyghur Muslims. Seldomly, if anything, they may mention it just so that the Hujjah is not against them. But really and truly, they don't put any effort into this. In other words, their da'wah is not a da'wah of ta'awun. It's not a da'wah of helping. Ta'awun and ta'awun. It's not a da'wah of that, and this is really what we need. If you think about it, you've got two models. Model one, which is their model, that if everyone attacks the divisive model, if everyone had done what they are doing, as we are seeing within their own groups, because their groups are a microcosm of what would have happened if everyone had adopted their methodology in the Ummah. We are seeing infighting to a comical level, right? If everyone in the Ummah had adopted their methodology, then everyone would be infighting in that way, and that would signal the end of the Muslim Ummah. However, if everyone adopts a methodology of tolerance, yes, we have red lines, boundaries. There has to be boundaries with tabdi'i and fit tabdi'i fi takfir and all those things, but it's not so constricted that if you just make a wrong move, then khalas, you're finished from the madhab, and you're finished from the manhaj, and you're finished from the from Islam. Then we have a group now we can call the Ummah, which is meant to do ta'awun with each other. So model A, which is the divisive model, their model, is a model that have everyone what do you call it, adopted. Then this would would basically signal the end of the ummah. And model B, which is what we are proposing, which is they are right. We have completely different manhaj. We have the manhaj of helping those who are in need, the people of all those people, oppressed people around the world. We use our platforms for that purpose. Not just that purpose. We call to people to Islam, as you know, but we also, that's a secondary purpose. We don't believe it's separate from the dawah of Islam. Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluma. You have to help your brother, whether he's oppressed or the oppressor. You know, and if he's the oppressor, how do you help him? By stopping his oppression. You know, that's what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said. The point is that if you follow their model, it will signal the end of the Muslim ummah. We would never achieve anything. But for them, that is a secondary consideration, actually. This is why you'll find, and this is my commentary of the Madkhalis, they're pretty secular. They're pretty secular. So ironically secular. Now, why is it? You'll find that they attack these issues of anything to do with hukm, with bima anzal Allah. They go overboard in this matter, like, oh, you shouldn't get into politics. It's a secular discourse. And the reason why it is a secular discourse, it's a secular Islamic discourse, is because they have been funded to make it so. It's very clearly, yeah? They have been funded to make it so. Oh, the prophets came and they preached Tawheed. It's true. When we do da'wah, we should preach Tawheed. But that doesn't mean to say that we don't believe in al-hukm bima anzal Allah, which is what you're basically deleting from or rendering as not important at all from the public discourse. So you and the secularists are one in this, and that's why you'll find yourselves many a time actually teaming up with the secularists, because both of you have the same vision, which is keep Islam in your homes, basically. You know, it's nothing to do. The hakim can say and do whatever he wants, and it's not al-hukm bighayri ma anzal Allah. And so this is the issue. You are secular Muslims. You are secular Islamists. You're not just quietists. You're actually secularists in one regard, because you do not care whether or not a hakim is ruling by what Allah has revealed or not. You don't care. You don't care about that mas'ala. And by extent, and another thing is, you don't care, and this is why you've been accused of irja', actually, by many people. You've been accused of people that, you know, that the murja' were a group of people that didn't believe that iman goes up and down. You've been accused of that. Now, whether or not I agree with that accusation is a different story, but that is an accusation. Secondarily, the reason why you don't care about that, or you show little concern for Muslims around the world and more concerns for attack isqat al-muslimun, yeah, you show more concern for trying to take down Muslims than you do for trying to propel the case of oppressed Muslims. The reason why that is the case is, once again, it's a foreign agenda. It's not an Islamic agenda. And I genuinely feel sorry for new converts and reverts who come into Islam, who don't know much about Islam, and then they move on, they move to this kind of discourse. You have been tricked and deceived, and it's ironically from the Americans themselves. It is the Americans. They've written it in their RAND reports and the CIA. And so, why do you think they're funding these people? You've been tricked and deceived, you know, from the Western propagandists who are divide and conquer type individuals. Yeah, you've been tricked and deceived by them. So you went from one Western discourse to another. All due respect, you went from one Western discourse to another. So you have no idea what you're doing. I'm telling you, this is a cult that's going to devour you alive, and is going to, especially if you're a female, you're going to be, you know, maybe married and divorced many times, as many of you already have been, with all due respect. You know, many of you have been with many men from the same cult. Friends, actually, you'll find like 3 men and 4 men, all friends, and they had the same wife, one after the other, and so on and so forth. You will be abused, and you'll think, what really is the difference between this life and the life I was living before, except for the aesthetics, the apparel, the appearance, the garments. And many of you may leave Islam altogether because you don't feel the ruh, the spiritual aspect of Islam. And you will think that is Islam. That's not really a representation of what Islam is, because it's not a representation of what Muslims do. So I say to you again, it's best for you, okay? And I'm not saying all, to be fair, I'm not saying all Madkhalites do that, and I'm not saying all non-Madkhalites don't do that. Just to be clear, there are some Salafis and Sufis and others, but more so the Salafis, that do this kind of thing. So anyway, we have to be wary of what we're getting ourselves into, and this is why these kinds of groups and cults, they have to be exposed, and the pressure has to be put on them, and that we have to raise public awareness on these groups and people, because they actually threaten the future of Islam. They threaten the future of Islam. You cannot just deal with an infestation problem by hoping that it will go away. It wallahi, uqsumu billahi al-azim. It is extremely similar to an issue where if you have an infestation in your house, you cannot ignore it. You have to bring in the professionals to get rid of the rodents, or to get rid of the cockroaches, or to get rid of whatever it is, parasite and insects. And that's what we need to continue doing. And we can't think, oh, this is a one sledgehammer approach. We give it one shot, and it has to keep going. We have to keep putting the mouse traps there. We have to keep spraying the premises and cleaning it out. Make sure it's hygienic and stuff like that. And if the rat comes, you have to